What the fuck's wrong with your eye?
Wait, what this?
No, the other one.
This?
No, the other one.
Oh, this one?
Yeah, that one. What's wrong with that one? Like, what's up with that? I gotta understand. Yeah.
Well, I finally got surgery, dude.
You finally had surgery.
I finally got surgery in my eye. Yeah.
Why? Were you blind? I don't understand.
I had a shellization on my eyelid.
That sounds like
It's,
that sounds like some crystal.
I was just about to explain it because I knew you'd be like, "What the fuck is that?" It's a gland and it's got like a buildup of like oils and stuff.
Sorry,
in
the
it.
word build up just kind of made me feel a little weird.
Because you need to take a shit. Like,
I already took a shit. I told you. I took a shit. It was like giving shit to a flail.
God damn it! It's not even the first 5 minutes. We're already talking about.
You
shit.
brought it up. I didn't
I
bring it up.
know.
You did.
I don't even mean to. It's so easy, dude. Oh god.
What did they do?
Yeah. So it's been ages. I had this thing on my eye for like 3 months. That's why I've been wearing glasses to try and hide it so it doesn't look as bad. But now I can actually have my eye out. So I had like this huge lump, and they basically had to do surgery on my eye and like cut a huge like lump out of it. So that's what they explained to me, and I was not ready for what they had to do. So I had to like lay down, and this is all under local, by the way. I'm awake.
You
for this
were
whole
awake?
thing. I was awake for this whole operation. So I laid down, and he's like, "All right, sweet." He started squeezing some drops into my eye to numb my eye, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, that was really easy." And he's like, "All right, that's numbing for the needle." I'm like, "Oh, pardon?"
They needled your eye, like
So,
like
yeah.
eyelid or like.
Like it's like yeah, in my eyelid, but like it's like it felt like it was going into my eye. So I couldn't not really feel much, but I felt like the sting of the needle. Like you know when you get like
Yeah.
a needle in your arm or something.
Yeah.
It was like that, but your eyelid.
Right. Yes. No. Yeah.
he's-
Yeah. I know exactly
the
that
thing-
because of the dentist that I've been going to.
Oh, true.
Yeah. They numb inside.
Yeah.
They're like
Ugh.
they just get inside. You're grossed out. Someone just shoved a needle in your eye.
I know, but I just remember when they like put it into your gum and like you feel it go in, and then it goes in even deeper. It goes
Yeah.
doop, doop into your gums. You're like, ugh.
Oh,
that
man,
just
that
made
was
me gag.
nothing in comparison
Yeah.
to whatever you went through.
So basically, he like the thing that freaked me out the most was he like put it into my eyelid, and his other hand was just like doing this, like shaking on my head, and he's like, "All right, don't move."
Was he like?
And I'm like, dude, you're the one moving. But then I know what? I spoke to my partner about this because I don't want to look like an idiot.
Yeah.
And he was moving. He was doing intentionally
Oh,
to move the
eye.
the anesthetic like around the
the-
eyelid, so like it numbs the whole
Okay.
area. It's like so it doesn't just go into my eyelid in that one spot and just sits there and pools up, and I'm just a really numb like 2 centimeters.
not
from
gonna
my
lie,
eyes.
that
The
makes
whole-
sense.
The whole eye
That
made
makes
sense,
sense.
but it freaked me. Like holy crap, it freaked me out. Like his whole hand's just going like this,
Yeah,
and he's like, "Don't move,"
I
and
don't
I'm like,
like that.
"Bro, you have a needle in my eye. I'm not moving." But anyway, so he does that, and I'm like, "Okay, cool,
Oh, wait a
He's like,
second.
"That's a-
Can I just stop you real one sec?
sure."
Welcome into the Hot Mess Podcast, everyone. Today. Oh shit, my lights aren't on.
Hey everybody, it's Fazzy and Tiani here. Yeah, we're gonna be talking about some horrific stuff. Sorry that we've just gone into needle in the eye in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's just
I
that's
already
just-
want to gag.
purely because of what has happened with me. It is quite obvious if you're not watching. I have an eye patch on. Yeah, so we'll get to the next part of the thing. He said that was the worst part of the surgery. He's like, that's the worst part, the needle in the eye. I'm like, damn right, it probably is. That sucks.
If I have to be honest, I fucking hope it would.
No, it wasn't.
No, I'm like, I hope
No.
it was the worst thing
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
if it was
that's-
worse than that, it's like, why did you even need to use that needle then?
It made me think of what's a game that it does that thing. Was it Dead Space or wait, was it Dead Space or where they have like this mini game where it's like a needle going into your eye. and it's like a mini game. It's like the needle's like slowly going down into your eye, and then if you stuff it up, the whole machine just goes into
Okay.
your head and just goes.
Okay, so I'm gonna say that
was in Dead Space, I
you're
don't
insane.
I think that was.
Are you sure that wasn't a movie or something? I
No,
don't think I've ever played
It was a video game. It has like a laser that like it's like going to your eye, and your eye's like moving around, and you have to like do all these inputs. And if you stuff up an input, the laser like goes, and like the whole machine goes into your. Anyway, that's what I thought of when he was doing it. It kind of freaked me out a little bit. My heart was racing.
So you started thinking about a machine that, if you screwed up, just destroys your entire eye socket and brain.
Well, it was terrifying.
While this guy
man.
was working on your eye.
It's like it's like the most sensitive part of your whole entire face getting worked on. So I was
Right.
like freaking out.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So he brings out a clamp.
What would he need to clamp?
He had to clamp my eye open.
Oh, okay. That's in my mind. For some reason, a clamp is something that does this, not this. But
Oh, yeah,
it
like,
makes no.
it's
It is still a clamp.
a spreader then.
No, let's not call it that. We're gonna call it a clamp.
Spreader?
It's a clamp.
So he put it in between my eyelids
Yeah.
and spread them.
Yes. Did that feel
And
weird?
then it was fucking terrible.
Ah.
Like I couldn't see anything. Thank God. Like I could
Oh,
not see
yeah.
anything. The clamp was in front of my eye.
Oh, okay. No, I was gonna
So,
ask. When
yeah.
he did like the needle, did your vision get affected at all?
I had my eye in the back of my head. I was not looking that shit. I was just like, I had my eye back. I'm like, I'm not looking at any of this. Please, for love of
He's
God,
like,
don't
you
show me
need
the
to look so
needle.
I could work on this.
I'm putting it in your iris right now. No. Yeah, so he clamps it back. And because the chalization or like the gland or whatever lump it was,
Yeah, let's just
it
call
was
it
literally
lump.
like it was coming beneath my eyelid. So it was like actually like you could see it, but it was like attached to like it's like attached like in the corner of my eye.
So your eyelid was going commando?
So yeah, he had to flip my eyelids inside out. We're talking about a lot of gross stuff.
I
right
really
now,
feel
but
uncomfortable. Yeah.
it's interesting, right?
You know what? Yes. It happened
Thank
to
you. I
you.
was gonna say, why am I talking
No,
about this?
it happened to you, so it's interesting. That's fair. That's completely
you.
fine.
Thank you. I feel validated. Thank you.
It's terrifying.
But yeah, and then he just like cut off the whole thing. But I think the worst part of it. Oh, I don't even want to talk about it. The worst part was.
Don't you dare say
Exact-
anything about pus. Is it something to do with pus?
No pus, nothing to do with pus. The worst part was because he had to remove the thing.
Yeah.
So the worst part was just hearing the scissors.
I was like
Cut.
ASMR.
Sure, for surgery
Yeah.
ASMR.
Surgery ASMR for your eyeball.
I wonder if that's actually a thing.
Don't.
Surgery ASMR.
Don't. I don't even need to know that that exists. This whole entire conversation has already dignified that I will forever take care of my
ASMR
own.
hospital brain surgery, pre-op exam, anesthesia, countdown, post-op nurse exam. That's the first one that comes up.
Countdown?
767,000 views.
But countdown?
Yeah, so it's like 3, 2, 1, and you blacked out.
That's the whole video.
It's your blacked out
you black
screen.
out. Video goes for 3 seconds. No, it goes for like 6 seconds. The first 3 seconds is you falling asleep, then you waking up being like, oh.
Goes for an hour and 10 minutes.
Oh my
Holy
God.
crap, dude. That is
Right.
insane.
If anyone
But yeah,
finds
so-
that interesting, you just got that in your knowledge bucket. Dear God.
Go watch that. Go watch that.
I'm not going
But
to.
yeah, just the cutting noise of him cutting it off. That was. It literally still sits in my brain. I hate it so much.
That makes me uncomfortable in many ways.
It was.
Yeah. It
It's like, yeah, you go.
did everything, was it all fine?
I think so. Like it ended up. I had the thing removed.
Are you like
and
this
he
right now?
He showed me it.
Are you like
no,
this?
I
Or are you like
no,
this
I have
right now?
one eye closed. I have one eye closed, and that I think is the hardest part because I have to manually blink my right eye because I'm constantly winking.
Oh yeah, that would. Oh
'Cause
yeah.
you forget because you're like you're thinking. I'm passively thinking. Got to keep this eye closed, and then this eye's like, hey, please blink. My eye's getting dry,
Hmm.
so I have to like constantly wink with my right eye. Yeah. That sucks.
Well, I
This is
hope-
our makeshift.
I
one,
hope
by
you're the
way.
only person who has to go through that.
Apparently, he's done it before a few times.
Great. Well, at least that's a good thing, because if you had something completely unique, that'd be less reassuring.
Yeah, I think the thing that made me feel the best about it, because I was like kind of nervous halfway through, I asked him, I'm like, so how's it going? And he's like, good. This is bar for bar what he said. He's like, I got the crap out of you, right? I'm like,
Cheers, mate.
Great. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
That's an Aussie doctor for you.
Yeah, it's true.
He's
That
like,
is true.
You're like crap out of there. I'm like, that's fantastic.
I don't think I've ever had something like I had all my wisdom teeth pulled out. I had to go to a specialist for that because apparently my teeth were going the wrong way. Apparently they were like,
so a dentist couldn't do it.
No, I went to a dentist to get them removed, and he's like, yeah, mate, he bar for bar what he said. I ain't touching that shit. That's what he said. I ain't touching that shit. And then he gave me the number to the specialist, so I had to go to a specialist, which was $150 just to see him each time.
The specialist.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Was the dentist free?
Yes.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. And
Jesus.
and then he's just like, yeah, your teeth are going in such a weird angle that you need to go to a specialist to get this sorted. So I had to go onto a table, get knocked the fuck out.
Oh, you were good. You were knocked out.
I was knocked the fuck out. Dude, I think, I'm not even kidding.
Thank God.
I have a feeling that they probably had to dislocate my jaw
Oh.
to get
Oh.
to all of the wisdom teeth easily.
Was your jaw sore?
It was a bit like, well, yeah, it was, because they just drilled and broke out 4 wisdom teeth out of my mouth.
True, but I mean, like, it felt like they like reefed it open. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, but like, I don't know, like
pushed
how
down on
I don't
your
know how
jaw.
like dislocation works. I've never dislocated something. I've broken things, but I haven't dislocated it. I don't know if it's like, because like in the movies, it's just that's all I got to go off. Is the guy dislocates his shoulder. Yeah, it hurts initially, but then he's fine and he puts it back into place, and then he's kind of like, owie, and then it was done.
Yeah.
I imagine that's kind of what happened. Like dislocated
Maybe
it.
dislocated things and potentially fractured things.
You've never broken something?
Never broken. Touch wood. Never broken.
Oh.
Only dislocated and fractured.
What'd you dislocate?
My shoulder. I think it was my left shoulder.
Did it hurt?
I genuinely cannot remember.
Okay.
To be honest, I think I was like 7, 8 years old.
Mm.
I was in the pool. I was riding on was it mum or dad's back? I can't remember. Was it mum's back? And like when your parent you're like riding on
You
your
could just
mum's
say a
back
parent's back. You don't need to
parents
remember.
back. Yeah, but still. Like mum listens to this, so I'm just like she'll
Oh,
be
yeah,
like,
true.
that wasn't me.
True.
And when they do like the dolphin dive under the water? And
Yeah,
you're, like, on
yeah,
their back, you're like, "Whee!" Going under the water. They did that,
Yeah.
and then they went back up for air, and my arm was like funky.
Oh.
And I was like, I can't move this arm anymore.
So your arm was just
Yeah.
pulled out of its socket.
Yep, just pulled out of socket, dislocated.
So you didn't notice straight away.
I mean, I was just like, that's funny. My arm's just not like right. And then we went to the doctors and they just popped it back in. Luckily, being young, bones are flexible.
True. They're just like,
Pop those things back in.
yeah. No.
When I move Ari around, I'm kind of just like, fuck, Jesus,
Fucking
the whole
little-
body's just like,
Yeah, flail ragdoll.
flexible.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, because they don't have knees yet. They don't have kneecaps yet. You know that?
When
Babies
do
don't
you-
have kneecaps.
When do you get kneecaps?
Start walking. Start crawling.
So your kneecaps don't develop until you start walking?
Still moving when you start moving. Yeah. They don't have them.
What the fuck is my knee then?
Weird. Weird.
Oh, that's making me. Oh, I'm trying to feel my knee right now. I don't know what that means.
They just don't have them yet. They just don't develop them.
That's weird. That is
Cool, eh?
weird. I've never dislocated something. I've never fractured something that I know of. I probably have. I probably just didn't do anything about it. But I've broken. Actually, everything bad has happened to this arm. So
yeah, your hand was pretty gnarly. Hey.
yeah, but I also shattered my elbow when I was 2. So that was
What?
Yeah, I shattered the elbow completely when I was 2.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I jumped off a hairdresser's chair. Pretty gnarly, right? Think about it though. I was 2.
That's pretty high
That's
up
pretty
for two.
like it's not like a hairdresser's chair like these days. It was like the high ones.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
tall ones.
And I jumped off it. It spun. You know, like I jumped and the chair was like a spinny one. So I spun. I lost track of my footing. I tripped over the thing and just landed straight like that onto the concrete floor, shattered my elbow. I actually remember, I remember looking from the ground up at my mum because she was in the room getting her hair done.
Mm.
And she went to the hospital with, you know, that the rubber caps that they wear with the little holes in it, so they pull out the hair. Yeah, Mum was doing that shit, and I remember her getting out of the chair with that and the towel around her neck, and that's how she went to the hospital.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so bad.
Yeah. But
I've got something very similar to that. Sorry.
Yeah, go.
You finished that story.
No, that's the whole story. That's the whole story.
Oh, okay.
Oh, other than apparently my mum saying that apparently when I was 2, I wanted my cast to be pink.
That's kind of sick.
Yeah, but then Mum thought I'd get made fun of at school, so I got blue.
You were 2.
Yeah, but I don't know.
You were ahead of your time, dude.
I was. Look at me now.
Look at you now. You're literally
I'm wearing a pink hoodie that says "I want you to die, please." So, I don't know. Like, I don't know where I'm at right now. But
I love that.
Your story.
I love that. I'm actually wearing some of that seed you got me.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, for people who don't know what's happening, if you guys know that meme where there's that cat sitting at the dinner table and then there's 2 angry ladies pointing at it, he's got like a. How would you describe that? Is it a Japanese shirt?
Traditional Japanese.
Style. And they're pointing at him. Faz will post a picture on his Instagram.
Yeah, I'll take a photo.
And then, that's dope. Where'd he get it?
He got it in the UK, I'm pretty sure.
That's an odd place to get a Japanese traditional shirt.
Yeah, he just saw it and he's like, I like that.
I like that.
For Faz. Yeah, he thought of me, so I was like, that's really cute.
That's pretty cool. That's a cool shirt. No, I'm not gonna lie. That's
a
really
sick
cool
shirt.
shirt.
You know what it says?
No.
He didn't either, so he made sure he Google translated before he got it. And it's just like I'm not drunk. And then it says you're talking to a cat.
It's valid. I'm not a cat, but like slay. That's a great shirt.
I'm not drunk. You're literally yelling at a cat.
That is a great shirt.
I love it. It's such a sick shirt.
I love that so much.
Yeah. So, my similar thing with your mum having to go to the hospital because
yes.
their son decided to jump off the thing and break his elbow.
Parkour. That was before parkour was a thing. Continue.
You were parkouring and getting pink cars. That's so sick. Literally the other day, it was on Mother's Day actually. I went to go get breakfast for Irk, my lovely wife. And I was just like, oh yeah, I'm going to treat her to breakfast, go out and get her some lovely food. So I drove out, took my car out, and I was just like, I'm like, you know what? I'm all comfy. I was wearing my my bluey hoodie, the one I was wearing in the last episode.
Okay. You wore that when you were going out for food?
Well, yeah, I was just going through drive-through.
Getting,
a breakfast. Yeah, so I was just like, I'm just going to wear that and go out. Because I was going by myself. Irk was home. And she ordered it on an app on her phone. And you have to be in the vicinity to accept it. So I had to take her phone. So I took her phone and my phone to go get the food. I drove out there. It was a huge lineup. I'm like, oh shit, driving out. Mother's Day, everyone's out. And then my car decides to go into limp mode. So it starts going like 2 kilometers per hour. I put my foot down on the accelerator. The car's going, just taking off like really, really slow.
Oh,
it's raining.
Oh, great.
I'm in my bluey hoodie.
Okay.
On a main road.
You could have just taken off the hoodie.
I have nothing underneath. I was going through a drive-through. I don't need to wear anything.
That's true.
One I'm on a main road.
Yeah.
The lights have just gone green. My car's going 2 kilometers per hour. I slowly go through this intersection. I'm like white knuckling on the steering wheel. I'm like, please make it, please make it, please make it. I made it through.
Nice.
Got to the next set of lights. Thankfully, they were red. I pull over to the side of the road in front of a hospital, like a very, very popular area, main road.
Nice.
And I'm just sitting there. I just turn my car off. I have the hazard lights on, and I'm like, please don't make me get out of my car. I don't want to have to wait for like a tow truck with like in this fucking Audi, a bluey pink Audi.
You looked great.
I did. Thank you. Then I just turn my car back on. It starts doing the thing again. Like, shit, please turn it back off again. The lights behind me have gone green, so the cars are coming. I turn it back on, I rev the motor, and it's like, boom, sounds fine. Put it into drive, and my car skids out. I just take off up the road, and I'm just like, I'm not getting out of this car. I'm not getting out of this car. I just take off up the road in front of everybody, and then, yeah, I made it home.
Was this 2 days ago?
Yep.
Now, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Oh, no, I see now. See, in my head, I was like, oh, how is that any correlation to my mum and a hairdresser? But then I realized it was because
I didn't want to get out.
You were embarrassed about what you were wearing in
my
public.
Audi.
Got you.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that makes sense. That makes sense.
Very busy day.
Very busy day. Mother's Day is a very busy day. I was supposed to take Christy on a date that day, but we decided against it because it's Mother's Day and everything just would have been a mess. So we decided against it. I'm going to take her to Korean this week. But
nice.
to the probably the worst. This one's a little gross, but I'm not going to go into huge detail with it. But definitely my thumb is probably like the worst thing that's happened recently-ish. When I think it was like maybe 4 years ago, 5-6 years ago. I can't remember how long ago.
It was a while ago.
It was. I unfortunately had an accident with a machine at a workplace that I was working at, and my thumb broke. I don't want
industrial workplace incident. Gnarly stuff.
I don't want to say because every time I tell the story, I don't think I've actually completed the story to my girlfriend because it makes her quease too much and she doesn't actually listen. So I don't think I've actually ever told her the full story. But
it's gross, man.
Well, yeah, it is pretty gross.
It's gross.
So like for the visual people, unfortunately the Spotify people won't be able to see, but I have different thumbs completely. As you can see, you could probably guess which is the broken one. The one that, yeah.
I don't know why that made me cool.
But yeah, so, I broke my thumb. That's probably the worst thing that happened. It sucked because that weekend I was supposed to actually go to Mackay and I was going to go do all these water sports. I was going to try out wakeboarding and all that shit, but I couldn't. But great thing that happened is that my workplace was actually moving facilities and I was going to have to help them move all the massively heavy equipment. But because I broke my thumb, I dodged all of it, which was sick.
Holy shit.
It wasn't intentional. They thought it was.
I was going to say, did they accuse you?
They did.
They did on purpose?
They just like, wow, it seems really convenient timing that this happened. And I'm like sitting there with a broken...
hanging off.
It's like broken. And I'm just like, yeah. Yeah. Super convenient. Yeah.
I'm so glad I've just ruined my thumb for the rest of my life.
Yeah, now
I don't have to move.
Yeah. Luckily though, my thumb is actually this thumb is actually stronger than the other thumb because it was broken.
Ooh, true.
So
right.
yeah, so it hasn't affected me too much. It's just my thumbs up are kind of like 50% now. They kind of just look kind of lame. Feels like every time I give people a thumbs up with this hand, it feels like I'm insulting them. You know what I mean? See that? Look at that.
Oh yeah, true.
It's kind of like an insult.
I see what you mean
Yeah,
now.
it's kind of like it's.
I can't even do that.
Yeah. Well, look at my thumbs. Look at the difference, Faz.
What? It's literally 90 degrees.
Yes.
Up here.
It's broken. Like I could force it this way, which is fine.
Don't do that, please. Don't do that.
But look at my knuckle.
Oh
look
my
how weird it is
God.
here. Look at that.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's probably my worst physical hurt kind of thing. That's actually left like a dignified jar. But You know what's
Yeah.
actually like the worst feeling? And I feel like a lot of people can relate to this, and it's something so
What's
minimal
that?
and it doesn't last a long time, right?
Mm.
Getting winded.
Oh,
Do you remember that feeling? I haven't been
just
winded
not
in
being able to breathe.
I remember being winded,
So scary.
and it is terrifying. You getting smacked in the chest, and you that. Oh, that sucks.
You
I
take
actually.
breathing for like
Mhm.
for granted, honestly.
I feel like a lot of people have been winded before. If you've never been winded before, I will be surprised. I'd be
Count your blessings.
genuinely surprised if no one's been winded before. It's
Hmm.
it's uncomfortable. The other thing, actually, have you ever had bronchitis?
That's like when you're like constantly coughing and stuff. Hey,
Well,
I can't.
it's a
breathe
type of thing.
correctly.
It's a chest infection.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Infection.
it's a type of chest infection that actually. So when I had bronchitis, whenever I get bronchitis, I hate bronchitis because
Mm.
there is a period of time when you have bronchitis that you suddenly start not being able to breathe properly.
Oh shit.
And you sit
Right.
there and you're like, and you sit there and you can't breathe. And like it goes away after time,
Yeah.
but it's rough. And there's a lot of, I hate saying the word, so I'm not going to say it, but fluids that you cough up.
Ooh, yummy.
Yeah. And sometimes
Mm.
bronchitis is the one that I've noticed the most. It's got like the worst case. It gets to the point where I can't breathe until I cough.
Cough it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes me feel sick thinking about it.
Oh god.
But one thing that I actually didn't tell anyone in this, I actually had bronchitis and I went to school.
What?
Yeah, I went to school. And
How?
well, if I have to be honest, I actually didn't believe in sick days until I was like 23, 24.
You just didn't believe in taking the day off.
I never had a sick day. I went to work in a factory with conjunctivitis, and I was
Yeah.
wearing a mask and glasses and gloves just so I didn't get anyone else sick, but I was still there at work.
That's crazy,
Yeah.
dude.
I hadn't had a sick day until I was 24.
When I was working in like the parts department of my last job,
Yeah.
they used to make you feel guilty having a day off.
Mm.
That's what I hate about working in like a smaller environment. Like if you have the day off, the place can't run correctly without you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you cannot have a day off essentially.
Mhm.
Well, it's not even a day off. Like if you're sick, you have to be there. Otherwise, the next 3 days after it, you're gonna be picking up the pieces.
Yeah.
Like, I hate that shit. I
Yeah.
hate feeling guilty for that, especially if you've like hurt yourself or you've got something actually wrong with you. Like,
Mm.
shouldn't be made to feel guilty for that.
You know what I heard about something?
What's that?
Apparently, I don't know how accurate this is. I would like if someone could correct me, that'd be great. Apparently, in France,
Mm.
they have 30 sick days a year.
Holy shit! A month, a year.
Yeah,
That's
worth
so
of sick day.
good.
Yeah,
Whoa.
because if I have to be perfectly honest with you, the system's kind of screwed up.
Mm.
Like when I get sick, I usually get sick.
Oh yeah.
and it
Takes
screws
you
me
out.
up like 3-4 days.
Yeah, last week, literally me.
Yeah.
I was out for 4 days.
You're out for 4 days.
I could not function.
How many sick days do we get a year?
I think it's like a week, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's like 8 days. I think
Something like that.
that means I can only afford to get sick twice a year.
Yeah. And you know what? If you have a proper big injury,
Yeah.
you're genuinely stuffed.
You're screwed. Yeah, you'd most likely get
much.
fired.
I've seen a lot of people at my work get like an injury that's like pretty serious, and they might go into like light duties or something like that. They try to get them back and do stuff.
Yeah.
9 out of 10 times, they just get let go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they just can't have you. You have too many days off. You can't work. Well, see you later. Sorry, mate.
See, I was really lucky with the fact that I broke my thumb at work.
Compo.
So they
easy.
couldn't fire me because it happened at work. But then this I'm obviously not going to say the company, but I'm a little bit peeved with that company because I broke my thumb at their establishment, right? And I would say it was kind of their fault, which is whatever. Like, that's fine. I didn't want to do anything poorly against them. I came back with still a broken thumb. I was still in a cast. I still couldn't do anything with my left hand pretty much properly. They were actually complaining that I couldn't paint a room fast enough.
It's so fucked.
And I'm like sitting here with a broken thumb, and they were complaining that I couldn't paint a room fast enough.
You're like, I'm trying. I'm here.
Yeah. And then that's when I just turned around and I thought to myself, like, that was when I started really thinking about it. I'm just like, I just don't want to work 100% physically for an establishment again until they respect me.
No.
I just don't want to do that anymore because of just like the level of disrespect. I like broke my thumb at that. That's what happened actually at this place. I broke my thumb, and the attitude that they had towards me changed drastically.
Yeah, because you can't work at 100% anymore. So
yeah,
you're not an asset to them anymore.
They completely disliked me. I was up in their office, and they were talking to me about my performance all the time, saying I wasn't. Oh, you're not doing good enough. You're not doing good enough. You're not good in this area. You're not good in that area. Oh, blah 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 blah. This is the first time like I've been working for those guys for like 2 years.
Yeah,
and then suddenly the last 6-month period, apparently I wasn't good enough anywhere, and then they were so like it was weird. I was never rude to them. I was never mean. I was never I never fought back. I never argued with them, all that kind of stuff. They give a going away party for every single employee that's ever been let go since I was there.
Yeah.
They didn't give me one.
You're kidding.
Yeah. I was the only person since me working there was the person who didn't get a going away party.
What did they do? Like,
they just said
how
bye.
How long was it after you broke your thumb that you left?
It was about 5 months.
So you left after 5 months after breaking your thumb?
Yeah.
And they were just like, yep, all right, see ya.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then
did they shake your hand with the broken thumb?
No.
Like,
they just like after that I just lost interest in being motivated working for them. And then physical labor to me after that, I just realized that and this is not for everyone, this is just for me personally, is that I have, for not self-harm reasons, just to clarify, I have scars all over my wrists from working at that place. Because I would wear safety gloves, so my hands were pretty clear, but then all up my arms, there's scars because of all the metal and fragments of wood and stuff like that I used to have to work with, and then it would just cut up my arms. I have scars all over my arms. I have a broken thumb. I have a scar. I got slashed open on my wrist here. This was probably the worst one. And I was tired all the time. That's the place I think I ruined my back with. And
100%.
And then the fact that they treated me that way, even after all of that I, sacrificed for them, it just made me realize I'm just like, I don't
it's
need,
not worth it.
I don't need to work 100%.
No.
I don't need to, because it's not worth it. They're not paying me enough to be like, I was on not great money there either. I think I made maybe $550 a week.
That's so piss poor for ruining your body.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. It was long hours too. The great part was everyone was happy. It's like, oh, you only have to work 4 days a week. Whoa, that's awesome. It was 6:30 in the morning till 4:30. I was working 10 hours a day for 4 days.
That's a full ass day.
Yeah. And then usually Friday, I was so exhausted that the day just became void. So it wasn't really a 3-day weekend. It was just more of a, hey, here's an extra day to recover from the 4 days of constant manual labor. Now, I know that I might be, I might be complaining and all that kind of stuff, but
it's your experience, man.
It's my experience. And I know a lot of people have been in worse situations. Absolutely. And I know there's harder jobs out there without a doubt, but it just made me realize that manual labor to me is just not worth it.
No. Did I tell you my experience with roofing?
I remember when you did do roofing, and I remember how much you fucking hated it.
Dude, 100%. It's like during the week off, like when people were going down and like doing schoolies or like what would you call it? It's like a end of year celebrations for like the grade 12ers.
What was it called? Spring break.
Spring break, I
For
guess,
everyone
yeah.
who would know what it would mean. Spring break, but summer break or whatever.
End
it is.
of year,
Mm.
everyone's like celebrating and stuff. I decided to do like a work experience for a roofing company. They were doing like sheet metal roofs on houses.
Mm.
And I was like, sweet, I don't get paid. It's just experience. I could go into that business afterwards, hopefully, if I wanted to continue that trade. And the first day I went there was kind of just like I was on the roof, just drilling holes in the roof. And like you're on a 35, 40-degree angle the whole time. So
Yeah.
your feet are like this the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And you're bending over, drilling holes in the roof. And I'm like, I know you'd get used to it, I guess. Like your back could get used to it, whatnot. You're doing that all day, putting the roofing on. Like that was my first day. That's all I did all day.
Yeah.
And like at Smoko, we'd like lay underneath the roof.
Lunch break, by the way.
Lunch break, yeah. Smoko would be underneath the roof that we just put on the house. And one of the guys, I think he looked like 30, 35 years old.
Yeah.
So like a bit older than I was. I was 17 at the time. And he was eating his lunch, laying flat on the concrete slab.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, you tired? He's like, oh, no, I got to do this for my back. Otherwise, I'll be stuffed by tomorrow. He has to lay on his back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, shit. Like,
Yeah.
like, how long have you been doing this for? He's like, oh, yeah, this is my 4th year. I'm 21. He looks 35. And I'm like, oh, his skin was like leather.
That's crazy.
Because he's on a roof.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I'm 21 years old, mate. Yeah, it's pretty rough on your back. And I'm like, nah, that day I was like, I don't know if I'll come back tomorrow. I did.
Good man.
Because I wanted to give it a go.
Yeah.
And my next day was like, I had to get it was like 6 foot long, I think we were working with 4 to 6 foot long sheet metal.
Yep.
So like similar to your sheet metal you had. Yours was probably like 10, 12 foot long.
It was very long. Yeah.
So what you have to do is like you have to pick it up off of the ground, put it on your head, bow it over your head so you can carry it, and then walk all the way over to the side of the house, and then you angle it up, and then you pass it up.
Yeah,
It up to
that makes
the person
sense.
that's on the roof. I did that. It's early in the morning. It's probably like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, like metal in the morning.
Yeah.
There's like dew on it.
Yeah, it's wet. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm passing it up to the guy at the top. He grabs onto it, slips out of his fingers. I'm holding onto it like this, with it between these hands.
So it cut down your
It slides down my hands, and I go, ah, and I drop it, and it falls on my head, falls on the floor, and I look at my hands. My hands are just blood.
Yeah.
I had to go to the doctors after that. They put a couple of stitches in my right hand, sew it up. It was fun.
Gross. Yeah.
That was my second day.
Yeah.
Oh, and I slipped as well.
Of
with
course.
the sheet metal on my head.
As if you wouldn't.
And my neck went to the side, and all I heard was...
That's why sometimes I just don't understand why some workers start so early. I don't understand.
I was half asleep.
And in my head, right? In my head, I'm like, people are like, oh, yeah, you get to go home earlier. I'm like, yeah, but then you got to go to bed earlier. So that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't you just...
You're asleep by 5 p.m.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you just get there later throughout the day and then it not be wet and dewy and cold? You know, you could work then in the warmer times of the day and then go home at normal time. And I will say this. I'm just going to say this right off the bat.
Go for it.
I fully respect for anyone who works in this type of industry. If you're a builder, roofer, plumber, anything like that, you're saints. You are saints. And
you're better than me. I wanted to add one thing to that. I'm not a roofer, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I gave up after the second day. I'm like, this is just not for me, unfortunately. I'm not cut out for this. I'm the tiniest, scrawniest little 17-year-old.
Yeah.
And obviously, those guys can do it, right? They're built for it. It's good money, and they do it early. I understand it because they finish around the middle of the day, the hottest part of the day in Australia, and you can get the worst UV rays.
Actually, that's a good point.
time.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And they're on the roof. Like, so they try and finish by about 12, 1 o'clock.
That doesn't explain
So-
every other construction worker
No,
job.
every other construction trade doesn't
Roofers
fucking
make
make
perfect
sense.
sense. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So yeah, I understand that with roofing. Like they understood as well. They were like, look, you had a couple of really rough days. They're like, I'd love for you to keep trying it out. It's not like that every day. And I'm like, look, mate, this is just not for me, honestly. And
Yeah.
they're like, cool, that's all right. It was a really cool bloke that I worked with for the week.
Lucky. Yeah.
I just couldn't do it, man. Not for me.
Yeah. I forgot to mention that wasn't my first experience with manual labor. My first experience with manual labor, so when I was at school, I was forced to change classes because apparently that I was doing mechanics at school, and mechanics, unfortunately, the mechanics class at school, at my school, our school, was just not good.
Yeah.
It was just not good. Like, I remember the first test for that class, which I only had once a week, was to memorize every single component in an engine.
That's so many parts.
I'm like, are you serious?
That's so much.
No, every single component inside of an engine within the first couple of weeks with only one lesson a week. I'm like, okay.
That's the alternator. That's the alternator.
I knew about half of it. I knew about half of them, but like the rest, I was like, how? So I was just like, you know what? I want to change. I feel like I could watch a YouTube video and learn more. So I left and I went to social studies. Social studies had a requirement of 2 weeks work experience over the year. Right?
What?
Yeah, so in social studies, you had to work in, so you had to go, like everyone else was pretty much, they did it, they worked 1 day a week for like 4 hours at this place that they go to. Me, because I joined the class late, they were like, hey, you have to catch up. Like, there's 2 weeks that you have to catch up on. And I'm like, oh, okay. They're like, so what we thought you could do is during the school break, you can work for 2 weeks with a handyman building guy. So, and I'm sorry, Mum. I know, but I remember this very distinctly. Okay, I asked my mother. I'm like, Mum, what do you think about me calling into KFC? Because I worked at KFC at the time. I asked them. I'm like, hey, can I call into KFC and say, hey, I won't be able to work for 2 weeks because I'm going to be doing work experience? Mum said, no, you can do both. In my mum's defense, she didn't expect what was going to happen. I was working, so he would come and pick me up from my place at 5:30 in the morning. We would work till 5 in the afternoon. I would then start work at KFC at 6.
Oh.
Until close, which is 1 a.m. So for the 2 weeks of these school holidays, remember what they're called? School holidays.
Yeah, you didn't have any holidays.
I started, it was literally the day of, because you might think, oh, you had weekends though. When I was working at KFC, I would say I was one of their valuable workers, and I was working 32 hours a week as a student. I was working 5 days a week. I was working 6 till close for 3 of them. And then it was 12 till 10 on weekdays, Saturday and Sunday. And I still had to do all that whilst working this work experience. I worked 70-hour weeks as a 17-year-old.
It's harder than you work now.
That's the reason why I don't work hard anymore.
I just picture you in the back of KFC, just like sleeping on like a bunch of flour or something, like during your shift.
Dude, I'm not even kidding. The first week I could handle it. The second week, I fell asleep on the ground holding a shovel. Whilst the dude, he's like, hey, shovel all this dirt down there.
Bro.
This was like, it was maybe like 1.5 meters tall worth of 2 piles of dirt that I needed to shovel alone. And the guy went out and he's just like, I'm going to go talk to the client. He was out for like an hour just talking to the client. And I just had to sit down and I laid down and I fell asleep on the floor.
You fell asleep on just like a pile of dirt.
No, just on the concrete. I was next to the pile of dirt.
Oh,
I didn't pile
okay.
it. But can I also point this out?
Yeah, sure.
Which makes sense. Like I'm not saying I should have, but I didn't get paid.
Yeah, it's just work experience.
Yeah,
dude.
but I personally think work experience should be like, oh yeah, here's, you work for 4 hours. I was working for 10 hours a day
Yeah.
for this guy for 2 weeks straight. And it felt like I was doing work that he just didn't want to do. And so
You gotta learn.
that's
He's teaching you.
that's the bad thing. But like when this is the problem I have with work experience, that just feels like that someone just came up with to then not have to pay people for work.
Yeah, it's just free labor.
It's free
genuinely.
labor. It's like work experience. That just feels like a scam. Yeah, honestly.
I mean, the way it's been told to me, I
Yeah.
don't agree with it.
yeah.
But it's just like work experience is annoying for the person who's like gets the work experience person because they have to slow down their initial day. They
Yeah.
have to teach you how to do everything
Mhm.
and stuff. And they have to, and then the person's like, "Oh, what do I do with this?" Because you're learning, you're trying to figure out how to do shit. And they're like, "Oh shit, I can't do a normal day with this person. I'm
Mhm.
not paying you. You're making my day. I'm losing money because of you."
Yeah. And
So,
that
like, I get it. But it sucks
yeah.
for both parties.
that sucks for both parties. Now
Yeah.
my question is, are you telling me that the businesses are forced into doing this?
God no, they accept it.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it's their fault.
I know it sucks for both people.
And they're
It doesn't
complaining
make sense.
they're complaining about, oh, my workload's harder now because I took a work experience guy on. It's like,
Yeah.
you chose to do that.
Why are you doing it then? Don't
And-
teach them.
yeah, it's I don't know. Work experience just feels like a scam.
It is.
It would have been fine if I did it over the span of the year, 1 day a week. That
No,
was
you did
fine.
2 weeks straight, baby.
I did 2 weeks straight whilst also doing 30 hours at KFC on top of that 40-hour week. It was rough. Actually, wait, it might have been an 80-hour week. We had pretty long lunch breaks, though, that I pretty much slept through the entire time. So,
Nice.
as best as I could. But, once again,
Hmm.
these are just my experiences. I know that people have been in rough fucking situations.
This generation, man, they just don't want to
We
work.
just don't
want
wanna fucking work.
hands.
There's no...
You don't want to get outside and get your bloody hands dirty, do you? Far
You're
out.
lucky
You
you're
just
not
sit
wearing that.
inside,
You're not wearing that blue.
play your bloody video games. Oh man, I just hate the way the fucking workplace works, man. It sucks.
I don't
hate
understand.
it.
And like hearing about like some businesses where the CEO is just not greedy, and it's just like the CEO is like making, yeah, he makes more than everyone else, obviously, but he's not like making. Actually, I saw a tweet today.
Sure.
And they said, I don't understand how it got to the point. Well, they were suggesting that the CEO cannot make 20 times more, like 20 times plus more
Yeah.
than their lowest paid employee.
Well, yeah, 20 times is so much.
It's a lot, right? It's a lot.
Yeah.
And like, it shouldn't be like that. And I kind of agree in some ways because I sit there and I think to myself, how is it turned to the point that it gets to the point where their decision is to pay people less so the CEO gets paid more?
More, yeah.
Like, how did
The
it?
company makes so much money,
Like-
but then the people that are on the lower scale of that company, they work for you, they're not getting paid more as well. Like, not everyone moves up together. It's like the gaps get bigger. It
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make
right?
sense. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And like, some people are going to turn around and it's like, oh, I have 100 employees, and I'm like,
Sure.
yeah, that makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. But like, it still doesn't make sense for you to make millions of dollars, millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars
Yeah.
when your employee can barely afford rent.
Yeah, your lowest employee, sure, might just do the bottom of the barrel work, but he's still a crucial part of your team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I feel like if the whole business is doing well, everyone that's employed should be doing well as well. Well, right? That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, sure, like the people are doing different things. People are doing more important tasks, and yes, they should be paid more. But if the whole business is doing well, like the really important people's, their pay should go up,
Yeah.
and then the people below them, their pay should go up a little bit as well.
Like in my head, it makes sense. Obviously, there's some sort of
There's
thing.
probably things that don't make sense to that, and someone's sitting back going, "That's dumb as bricks. That doesn't work. That would ruin the company." And we're just like, whatever.
We're just looking out for the little guy.
I just reckon I should get paid more doing the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. And like, I'm sure that like down the line, like once we start like diving into more of a business scene, we will start to understand these processes.
Yeah.
But like, from my understanding, being a working class individual, right? If I'm treated well by the boss, I want to be treated like I want to treat the boss well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you want to work harder. You want to perform.
If
well.
a boss inspires me, I work harder.
Mhm.
If a boss
100%.
intimidates me, I want to work less. Which I don't know if that's a bad thing. I don't know if that's immature. I don't really care. If a boss needs to intimidate me for me to do work, I'm just not interested.
Well, yeah, no, dude, that makes sense.
That's why I'm really happy where
100%.
I am right now, because Fruity inspires me
Mhm.
as a boss. Where in previous jobs, the bosses use intimidation to get you to do what they want.
I find the best way to see how a boss like handles things is the way they hand out criticism.
Yeah.
Like if they hand it out being like, "You're doing really bad, you've got to pick it up," where they're just like, "Hey, you work really well in these parts, but I would like to see you do better in these other things." So it's like, I like compliment sandwiches. I feel like they work out quite well, me personally.
The way I like it and the way that I think it should be done is that they
Yeah.
shouldn't come up to you and tell you what you're doing wrong. They should come up to you and ask you how they can help you do better.
Sure, that's a good one.
You know, like, so instead of me going up, Faz, you're not working hard enough. You're just not doing it, right? It's just like, hey man, I've been noticing. Have you been having any troubles? Is there anything that we can do to help you to like kind of move a bit faster? Is there anything that we can do to make it more comfortable or anything for you to?
Bro, I could love a beer right now. That'd be great if you could give me one of them.
Yeah, I could give you one of those and then you can go home.
That's the best day ever.
Yeah.
I love this boss.
I don't know, but yeah, I feel like, I think a boss, there's two types of things in my mind. There's a boss and then there's a leader. You can be both, but most of the time people just want to be boss. You know, people, I'd say workplace managers, they're bosses. They're people who just want to tell people what to do.
I'd hate that mentality.
Yeah. Where leaders are the people who, they're the ones who make the hard decisions, but they're also helping where things are lacking. You know what I mean?
They offer solutions to things. They don't just go, "You're shit at this."
Yeah.
They're just like, "Hey, maybe we could work on this together, or
Yeah.
like we could do this." You know?
Mm-hmm.
They don't just go, "This bad, fix it."
Yeah.
I love helping instead of like offering criticism with a solution.
Yeah.
I love that. It's brilliant.
I think it's good. Honestly, my only experience is being on the receiving end of a boss. I haven't actually been a boss. Well, I've been like in a supervisory role, and I think I'm pretty good at it. But it just comes down to the fact that I feel like being a leader is much more profitable for your business than being a meanie patootie boss, power hungry little fuckhead.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen you work in like a group environment where you're like the lead of it, and I think you do it quite well.
Well, I think it's just important to listen to everyone. Like, just listen to what everyone's saying, and like try and help people, because like you never know. Like they might be just like a diamond in the rough, you know. But you won't know until you wash off the dirt, and you got to help them wash off the dirt. They're not just going to wash it off themselves.
I think that might be like workplace violation if you're washing your employees to see if they're.
I think it'd also be a problem if my employees were diamonds.
I mean, it depends where you work, I guess.
I don't know, Faz. I don't think that would be good anywhere, really.
I think you got to stop washing your employees.
Yeah, maybe. Well, this kind of dived off into a weird kind of process.
It always does, doesn't it?
Yeah, we were talking
We're
about
talking about injuries, and surgeries.
and then suddenly we started talking about workplaces and work experiences, and then suddenly how a boss should treat their employee.
Kind of like it though.
Yeah. It's nice to
I'm
hear
trying
that.
to think of my injuries. I mean, I got like stitches in my chin and stuff.
I ran into a wheelie bin.
You ran into a wheelie bin?
Yeah, I did.
These are all great stories as
Yeah.
well. We didn't even get into them.
Well, realistically, that story I could literally tell in 5 seconds. I was riding down a hill on a bike. You know the gutters, how they have like the little ramps on the ends of the gutters? I went
Yeah,
up one of
sick.
those on a bike, face planted into a wheelie bin.
Yep.
That was the whole story. I didn't get any
Yeah.
stitches. I didn't get anything.
I got my one on my chin. I can tell that in 5 seconds.
True. Go.
I was on the front of a trolley. I was really young. My
Mhm.
mum was pushing the trolley. I thought she stopped to get into the car. Put my foot down. My foot went underneath the trolley, and I face planted into the concrete, and I got 6 stitches in my chin.
That's slay.
Mm.
Well done.
Luckily, the hospital was across the road.
Oh, that is very convenient for that. Yeah.
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 But
Well,
the thing is, I didn't cry.
I didn't
until I
cry
looked
either
in the
when I
mirror.
ran into the wheelie bin.
Oh no, I looked in the mirror and I started crying my eyes out because I saw the blood.
I never actually saw what my face looked like.
Probably a good thing. You
My
might have
mum
cried
went and
then.
cleaned it up before I even went into the bathroom to have a look.
Yeah, I was begging my mum to look at it, like in the revision mirror in the car. I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to see it. And mum's just like, "Oh, you don't want to see it," and I wasn't crying at all. And then I flipped the thing down. I looked at it and I started crying, bawling my eyes out.
That's fair.
And she was like, "God fucking damn it! Why did I do that? Such a dumbass."
Yeah. All right.
that's
Well,
funny.
we've been going for 57 minutes, Faz. I think we are done.
I hope they enjoyed our blabbering about just nonsensical.
I feel like I just
workplace.
needed to rant about the past a little bit. You know what I mean?
I think we needed to just get them things off of our chest.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Like dirt,
complain.
because I washed my employees, apparently.
You wash your employees. Got to get the. See, you do get your hands dirty.
I always get my hands
Look at
dirty.
you.
I'm always doing that shit.
That's good, man. Get out there. Get them hands dirty.
A clean boss is not a leader.
That's the right path.
All right. I'm ending it here. Okay, I'm ending it here. Goodbye, everyone. Thank you very much for hanging out. Hope you had a good
See
day.
everybody. Good
Uh,
night. Goodbye.
hopefully, Faz's eye is not behind a
I'm
bandage
gonna
next
peel
week.
it off. I'm
Ew.
gonna peel it off.
Do it. You
I'm gonna
won't.
peel it off. You guys want to see it?
Oh, God. It's
Guys
going to
wanna
be
see it?
so gross.
Oh.
Oh, gross.
In the Patreon. We don't have a
I
Patreon.
don't have a Patreon.
No, I'm not gonna do it because of TOS.
All right.
Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.
I'll see you with 2 eyes next week.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.